Hi, I'm Sandy Botkin, CPA, attorney, and former trainer of IRS attorneys nationwide, and author of the best-selling book, Lower Your Taxes Big Time. One question people ask me about is, I have all these medical expenses, but they don't exceed a threshold. There's a very high threshold that you have to exceed to deduct your medical expenses. Prior to 2012, that threshold is 7.5% of your adjusted gross earnings. So if you make $100,000, basically, your medical has to exceed 7.5% of that, or $7,500. Starting in 2013, under the health care reform, that threshold is going up to 10%. Wouldn't it be great if you could deduct the medical expenses that you're incurring as a business expense with no threshold? That sound too good to be true? Believe it or not, it's available. And it's available with something called a self-insured medical reimbursement plan. Now, what is that? This is a medical plan, a written plan, whereby an employer, being you, reimburse an employee, such as your spouse, and family members, which means you and the kids again, for medical expenses that are not covered by insurance. This is in addition to your medical insurance. You are not dropping out of your medical. This is an addition. This is covering the things the policy doesn't cover. Things like deductibles, eyeglasses, co-insurance, pre-existing conditions, braces. I know someone who wrote off $9,000 in braces using this. Mileage to and from the doctor, mileage to and from the dentist, orthotics, all the other medical expenses that are not covered by insurance. It's an incredibly cool thing. Now, how do you use the self-insured medical reimbursement plan? There are essentially 6 steps. The first step is to either hire your spouse or your other family members in a self-employed business, or form a regular C corporation. C corporations can do this without having to hire anyone. Whereas if you're self-employed, you'll need to be able to hire your spouse, or if you want to do this with your parents, hire your parents. You can even hire your kids if you want. Now, this won't work directly with S corporations. That's one of the disadvantages of an S corporation. S corporations can do this, but only for routine physicals and laboratory testing for the owners and nothing else. That's the one disadvantage of an S corp, but S corps can do everything else I say in my videos. Step 2 is to draft up the self-insured medical reimbursement plan. Now, where do you get this? Well, you're not going to find it on LegalZoom or any of those places, but you will be able to get it from a tax lawyer. And most lawyers will be able to do this. It's a one-time charge. It's about $600. And it's not even that. Why not? Because it's tax deductible. Step 2 is to draft up the self-insured medical reimbursement plan. Step 3, whoever it is you hired, whether it be you hired your spouse or your kids, make them the primary insured on this plan. If you hired your spouse, they're a primary insured. You hire your kids, they're the primary insured. You hire both, they're both primary insured. Hire your parents, they're a primary insured. Now, step 4 is really where this works. Step 4 is if you are a corporation, or if you hired your spouse, elect family coverage, which means your spouse will cover who? You and the kids. And step 5 is to reimburse the family member for medical expenses that are not covered by insurance. And that could be for braces and eyeglasses and pre-existing conditions for both you and your family. You get a deduction, and they get that money tax-free. Why? You're not deducting this as a medical expense. You're deducting this as a business expense, because these people work for you. Now, there's one other tip on step 6, and that is you want to meet with your accountant to set up a maximum payout under the plan. So you want to meet with your accountant to set up a maximum payout under the plan. The reason is IRS takes the position that the amount of salary you pay your family plus payments under the self-insured medical reimbursement plan must be reasonable in total for the amount of work that they perform. So if a reasonable wage is $60 to mow the lawns in your rental properties, you pay your daughter something less, let's say $30, and the other $30 can be used for the potential self-insured medical reimbursement plan. If this doesn't knock you out of your chairs, you don't like this enough, you all need an enema. And that's also deductible under the self-insured medical reimbursement plan if you get a prescription from your doctor. There's a lot of things you can do with this, and this is a way to avoid the threshold, to get a business deduction, and not have to worry about all the problems. This is what the rich are doing that a lot of people don't know. and it will certainly help make your life less taxing.